Good, thank you. How are you?
Do you know what? I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so good, and it's not just me and Charlotte, because there's somebody else, and it's the things that he does. It's so physical. The things that he says so flammable. I can't resist. It's such a shame that he belongs to another. But Lucas, you were with us. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Just tremendous. Just tremendous. And for the first time in a long time, there's four of us. There's four of us, and there's somebody who's going to take a chance on a happy ending. She's going to turn the page and stop pretending. It's time to let go, because baby, this weekend's result is better best forgotten. But United fan Hannah, how are you this evening?
Apart from that, I'm great. Thank you. We'll get into that
though. Superb. And in the chat, we have Graham. Graham, thank you for joining us. And Ryan's here. Thank you for joining us as well. And Lisa, good evening. And Simon, good evening. And to everybody else who is watching but not commenting, good evening. Good evening to you as well. And to all of our audio listeners on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, stuff that I forget even exists. Hello and welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us live on the Absolute Football Podcast. We're going to kick off this. It wasn't a weekend full of fabulous games. To be perfectly honest, I didn't think so. And but here's the man who is meant to be here this evening. Sam in the chat as well. He's saying, "What a team! What a team! It'd be better if you were here, because that means that I wouldn't, and the sex appeal with you and Lucas on the same show would just whoosh. It would be sensational. But we've got to have a drag factor, and I am it this weekend.
Don't put yourself down, Josh.
But Sam is feeling a bit poorly, so best wishes to you and the families. I hope everybody is feeling much, much better soon. But I don't really know where to start, so we're going to start a nice neutral ground. We're going to break us all in gently. And so, Charlotte, Aston Villa 3, Crystal Palace 1. How did that game make you feel?
I'm glad you're asking me about this one, because this is the only one I've really kept up to date with. Because obviously being on the lower league as well, it's so hard to keep up with all these games.
It's almost like we planned it.
I know. But first of all, I don't know if he's watching, but I want to wish Roy Hodgson best wishes, because obviously he got taken ill before the game. So I really hope he's okay. So get well soon, Roy. But yeah, I just feel Aston Villa with a better team in general. Obviously, that didn't show until later on in the game. In the 35th minute, obviously, they had a goal disallowed for, I think it was offside, if I remember correctly. I think it was offside, Moussa Diaby. Then Edouard scored 2 minutes into the second half to give Palace the lead. And then, I can't say his name. Is it Duran? Yeah.
Close enough.
But anyway, yeah, he scored, and I don't know if any of you have seen it. He scored an absolute peach of a goal, and what a player he is as well. Really good player to equalise. And then Ollie Watkins was fouled, so they got given a penalty, Aston Villa. But I don't know if any of you saw this, but he awarded the penalty. England, I think it was refereeing, awarded the penalty. VAR wanted to speak to him, so he looked at the screen, and this is the first time it's happened in Premier League football, but he didn't overturn it. He stood by his decision, which I actually think, fair play, good on you, lad, given the decision, and he actually stuck by it. So obviously, Douglas Luiz scored, and then it was 2-1, and then late on as well, I think it was Leon Bailey, was it?
I believe so.
Yeah, honestly, I think he got the winner, yeah. So, yeah. Aston Villa.
11th minute of extra time as well. I mean, Graham thinks it was a hard penalties decision. Do you agree?
I think it was I think it was harsh, but I think for the referee to sit by his decision, fair enough.
I mean, I've got to be honest. It's again, this is a bit of a theme, because this isn't the only team that and the only result that's coming with late decision. 98th minute, 90 plus 11 for goals. Are we enjoying this super duper late goals? I mean, what do you think, Shah? Are you enjoying these coming in so late?
If it's not Rochdale, then yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like watching it and stuff. Yeah, it is quite entertaining. But I do get what you mean. It's one of them things, isn't it? But if people are wasting time, and if people obviously are injured and they're adding team on, if it's for you and it's your team, it's absolutely brilliant. But obviously, it's one of them, isn't it? It's swings and roundabouts. But at the end of the day, if it's your team, you all moan, obviously, if you want it added on. So
I don't, for injuries, I'm okay with injuries, but I'm still one of those. I mean, for me, time wasting is a tactic. I think it's a tactic in football that some teams need. I mean, but Lucas, did you catch any of this game? And what were your thoughts on Aston Villa's performance, the first one in a while where they've been half decent?
So I only saw the Sky Sports highlights, so they missed out the whole VAR thing, ironically enough. But yeah, I kind of thought Villa were going to win that. It seemed relatively comfortable from the highlights. Palace just on. I love Palace, but they're just a bit of a stale team. Like, I'm not really sure what it is. Money, new management. Like, they're just a bit there in mid-table. So I don't think they're really that threatening in these kind of games, especially away from home. Edouard's not that great. He did get the goal, but I just don't think he's that good of a striker. Defensively, they're a bit shaky as well. And the midfield is kind of just non-existent. Eze hasn't really started the season as well as he did last year as well. So it was always going to go in Villa's favour. Villa just look really good. They look really good. You can score against them. They don't look as... I don't know if Torres and Co have gelled as well, but Villa, like, going forward are pretty deadly at the moment. So I think 3-1's a fair score.
Yeah, I mean, and debut for Zaniolo. I mean, Shah, you caught this game more than us. Did you see much of Zaniolo out on the left, opposite to John McGinn? He played football.
Threw me in a deep end there.
Go on. Have a go.
It was a brilliant.
He was awesome, was he?
What a debut!
I thought he would be. I thought he would be, because I didn't have him in my fantasy football team. So everybody I put in my team just really underperforms. That's one of those. I'm glad Sam isn't here, because he would go through the fantasy football. Oh, mine is atrocious.
I bench Ward-Prowse. Last week, I forgot. One of the other weeks, I forgot to do it. Alvarez. I don't know how many points he got. He got a lot of points. He was on my bench. Bench Ward-Prowse. He scored. Honestly.
Yeah, well,
I'm so bad.
We'll come on to mine later because it ties in nicely into one of the other games. But I mean, Charlotte mentioned earlier about Hodgson being out poorly bad. As he was in the. How much of a difference do you think that made to the team performance, or do you think they're just not that good at the moment?
I think when you come up against a team like Villa, like you've both said, it's always going to be a challenge for them, especially because Palace are renowned for being a mid-table team, like, with respect. So I don't think it would make a massive difference personally with Roy Hodgson being out, because obviously all of the kind of team have the tactics in mind that they go for going to games. So I'm not sure that made a massive difference, but I think the thing is with Villa, as Lucas said, they're just a lot more clinical. Like, you've got to take your chances, especially in the Premier League. Like, how quickly games can change. And when you don't take your chances against teams like that, you get punished. So I think that's... I didn't watch it. I didn't catch any of the 3:00 games because I was sadly at Old Trafford. But yeah, from the highlights, like, you can just tell they're just way more clinical. They've got a better game plan than teams like Palace, unfortunately, for them.
Yeah, they are a bit new. I think Eze is like their only threat now, and that's gone. But I mean, talking of things changing, I've just noticed in the chat Heather outing herself as officially old, and apparently last week was her birthday. I had a big 5-up, which I fail to believe. I saw Heather. I mean, if you haven't seen that All About Bournemouth with Heather, I don't believe that she's 50. That's taken me a lot. But seeing as it is your birthday, I'm sure Charlotte would love to sing happy birthday to you. Yeah. There you go, Charlotte. Go!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Heather. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip.
Hey!
Hip hip. Hip hip.
I'm not doing 50. God bless you. I'll be shattered. We can't be on too much. We'll get told off.
Simon Cowell's coming knocking on my door tomorrow.
Tell you what, he's on it. We'll clip it. We'll make it a short, and it'll be there for everybody to see. But I mean, games that everybody wants to see. Coming through for our resident Spurs fan, Lucas. Tottenham 2, Sheffield United 1. Oh, another game with super late goals. How did that one make you feel?
I honestly wish I never told you about that. The rumors will die at some point. Yeah, Sheffield just kind of balled it, but Spurs look good for now, but we'll humble them on Sunday, so they can enjoy their little wins against Sheffield. And who did they beat last week? Their son got the hat trick. I can't remember who it was. Burnley or something.
Burnley. It was Burnley. Indeed.
Yeah, Burnley, Sheffield. They can enjoy their wins against Burnley, Sheffield, but when they play us, they'll be humbled again. And Spurs just aren't. It's always a full storm with them. And I do think they are playing better. I'll be fair, they are playing like a lot better than I expected with Harry Kane gone. The football's actually pretty good. And some of their players like Basuma, who else is there? Sarr is playing really well. Romero looks good. That new goalkeeper they got looks good. Udogie left back is outstanding at the moment as well. But it's Tottenham, so let's be honest, they're not going to do anything. Title challenge rumors are all going to start going, and Tottenham fans on Twitter are going to get excited, but they're going to lose the North London derby, and then at some point they'll capitulate. But for now, they're doing all right. And I mean, it's Sheffield. They're not playing anyone of importance. I mean, who have they played in the top 6? They played United, but yeah, the less said about them, to be honest.
We'll
leave United for a bit.
That's coming. I mean, I did see.
They got us at a bad time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, this season, that's the bad time at the minute.
That'll be the test for Spurs, I think, like to see how far they come. They're coming to the Emirates on Sunday. It's always a tough game, but we tend to get the better of them at the Emirates and vice versa. Outside of last year, they tend to get the better of us at White Hart Lane. But
I mean, I did see, I'm not sure if anyone else saw this on Twitter. There's a weird graphic going around. I'm not sure the validity of this, but it was saying it was ranking the easiness of games.
at the beginning of the season.
Wait, how you merit that? I've got absolutely no idea. I mean, as a United fan, you grab onto that because I think they had like the third highest difficulty in fixtures, but Spurs are like the last but one, or something like that, like the penultimate. And we have to say lovely things to Heather. We're now going to upset her a little bit, but they played Bournemouth, Burnley, Sheffield United. I mean, Brentford, theoretically, Man United should have been that challenge. So they have, as you said, they've had a bit of an easy run in, don't you think?
The funniest one was that Chelsea have had the easiest run and won one game.
It's so bad.
Sorry, I shouldn't be throwing shade right now, like the position United are in, but it is quite funny.
It is good.
We need to get a Chelsea fan on the podcast because they're getting away with murder at the moment.
Yes.
I don't know enough Chelsea fans. I know like 2 Chelsea fans, and they don't. And most of the Chelsea fans I know just don't really watch football like that. So
I actually don't know one.
Banter.
I know no Chelsea fans at all. I don't know if they really exist in the UK. I'm not, or I think they all support Man City now anyway. But with Sheffield, that's bad, isn't it? I mean, another game with late goals, 98th and plus 10 minutes. I mean, Lucas, are you happy with these goals coming so late on?
And I don't mind it too much, but it kind of just defeats the whole purpose of stoppage time, and the whole culture of it coming up to the 90th minute is just kind of dead now, because you've got an extra 10 minutes now after 90 minutes. There's no rush. So it's just going to I think it just takes some getting used to be honest, but the stoppage time effect doesn't really land as much now that there's potentially another 10 minutes afterwards, which, that's enough for 3-4 very big chances depending on how the game is going. So whereas before you look at it as stoppage time and be like, they're going to get one more chance, or at least one more chance. Now it's like they're going to get at least 4.
Yeah, the excitement's gone, isn't it? When you get that last, let's get the ball up there, let's hump it up there, because you don't know what happened. It's sort of
also subs and stuff. You can't really, if you're a manager, you can't really time your subs as effectively, because if you want to do a last minute sub for stoppage time, you bring someone on the 85th minute or 86th minute if you're chasing a game. Now you're kind of like, what do I do? Unless you're counting the stoppage time yourself, you're kind of like, if I throw someone on who's just going to leave us, a bit more frail in defense because they're an attacker, and I throw them on the 85th minute and the game gets 10 minutes extra time, you're playing quite a bit of football there with one less defender in your team. So like I say, it's going to take some time because it's a pretty significant change, I think. So
yeah, it is a bit. I mean, and also there's been a lot of rule changes this year, changes to the refs, how they ref in the game. I'm not sure. I mean, I'll stick with you on this one, Luke. So I'm interested to see what you've got to say. The Sheffield United manager, I'm not sure if you've seen, he's come out not elated with how the referees managed the game. But basically, I love the fact that he is no longer just Klopp calling out referees and going to be castigated for it. But he's got basically that the people that are in charge of the game know the least amount of the game, which is really throwing some shade. Do you think he had?
He actually said that for quote. He actually said that.
He said the people that are running the game are ruining, know the least amount about the game.
Damn. So he'll be getting a ban soon, and I imagine, or a fine.
I mean, the example he gave is that they were trying to play it out from the back. I believe that this is the right way around. They were trying to play the ball out from the back. He said Tottenham figured out what we were doing and started to do things to try and counteract that. So the goalie had to take a minute to try and recalibrate and decide what he was going to do. And the ref was telling him, no, you're taking too long. I'm going to have to card you for time wasting. So if you're not sure what to do, just kick it long.
He basically told him to change the way they were playing. And he said, I've basically set up my tactics to play this way, and the referee's telling me how my team should play. And he went on a rant about it.
Yeah, that's a bit mad, actually.
Yeah.
It's magic. I mean, Charles, what did you think of it? Did he have a valid point?
I think so. I honestly think so. I know, obviously, there's all this about protecting referees and stuff, but we've all seen some of the decisions and VAR and stuff. We've seen all that happen with Mike Dean as well. He basically come out and admitted it was at fault, but he did it to save his friend or whatever. So it makes me think, why can't managers call people out when they are making mistakes? I think so.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? It's like you say something bad against them, you get a fine, or
exactly,
or you can't be on the you can't be on the you get a touchline ban. It's like,
yeah,
it's weird. It's just a weird culture with the refereeing organization at the moment. So
it's like, don't get me wrong, if you're constantly targeting the referee and it's not really the referee's fault, then fair enough. But if they've made a mistake, or if they're making error after error after error, I think managers and players have every right to. It's costing these players points at the end of the day.
And points.
That's my rant over anyway. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
I sounded really serious.
I've got it a minute.
I know. I've been banned from a podcast for a week.
So I got a minute to just so our short, so we can keep pumping that out. Charlotte's rant.
No.
I mean, Graham's saying Sheffield like to beat themselves rather than the defender just booting it downfield. In the 110th minute, they tried to play short passes, which I mean, it could argue the fact that maybe the ref was right. Maybe they should just be playing hooving it downfield. I mean, Shah, you would have seen a little bit more potentially of Sheffield United potentially as a lower league team, but they haven't set the world alight at the moment. Although that was one of the more solid performances. Do you think they're showing anything at the moment to prove us wrong and stay up, or?
To be fair, I think out of the teams that have come up, I think these have been having the better performances. Obviously, they've got Gustavo Hamer as well from Coventry. He's a really good player. But I think these kind of players are championship-based players, a lot of them. And I don't want to be really mean because obviously I think they'll win games against the lower ones, but I do think they will struggle this season. I really do. And a bit like Luton as well, where they've signed typically championship players, I don't think they have got that more quality like certain teams at the bottom have.
Yeah. You can be mean. Just say they're trash. Just you can say some mean.
I mean, you're already, slagging off refs. Might as well have.
You might as well just slag off Sheffield as well.
I think they could be Everton.
Oh
Luton.
my god!
But do you know what?
Wait until we get onto that game.
Well, that is. I was going to say. I mean, Claire's in the chat. Hello, Claire. Thank you for joining us as well. And I think we've got Finbar in the chat as well. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. And here we are. Cap Alid, who's amazed at the amount of money Chelsea have spent on midfielders, but they should have gone for a forward.
And Chelsea, I think they could beat them as well.
Well,
I hope so now.
Well, do you know, on the front of Sheffield United, I mean, they're on 1 point. And then there is another 2 teams below them on 1 point. One of them played in the most boring Super Sundays I've seen in a long time. And while you are here, your actual team, Lucas, Everton 0, Arsenal 1, scoring in everyone's favourite minute, in the 69th minute, Lissandro Trossard. How did that game make you feel?
Wait. One of the most boring Super Sunday games.
No, boring Super Sundays, I said. Well, that's what I meant. Anyway.
Because I've seen Bournemouth, West Ham Super Sunday. I've seen all kinds. So Arsenal Everton was a good game. Oh shit, Heather's gonna come for me now.
Remember, it was a birthday. You've got to be nice for a little bit.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
I know you're always digging out Bournemouth. I've noticed this is a habit.
Yeah. I hope Kira's not here because Everton are like they're easily the worst team in the Premier League this season. Like just based off not even based off just like the games this year, based off last season as well. Like they don't offer anything. We were playing them and I was like, I couldn't believe it took us that long to basically break through. I mean, they defended okay, but anytime they got the ball, they missed like 5-yard passes. Like all of their players, they couldn't string together more than like 3 passes together in the midfield, even without no pressure. It was like watching a Sunday League team. And I know that sounds a bit harsh, but I had them 19 for a reason, and it's like they look awful. They're really bad. So I expect them to. I don't even know if they sack Sean Dyche if they're going to recover, because the squad is so bad. And Calvert-Lewin was back, and it didn't change anything. They brought him on. It didn't change anything. In fact, I think Better was actually playing better than him. That was a weird sub. So, yeah, we got the win in the end. It was a bit scrappy, but great goal by Trossard. A really good finish. Kai Havertz didn't start, thank God. And yeah, I got nothing more to say about Everton. I think they're in trouble.
They're a bit unnerving. I was interesting. If you look at things like Tifo, The Athletic, they're all actually bigging up Everton. I'd say they're not performing as bad as the results show, and you know they're doing okay. I don't quite see that.
I think that's a load of rubbish.
Yeah,
they weren't great against Sheffield as well. They should have lost that game.
Yeah, I'm unnerved. I mean, but while we're on players coming in and out of teams, David Raya starting, or David Raya, depending on how you want to pronounce it. What was your feeling on that decision there?
I'm fine with it. Honestly. I don't have an issue with Ramsdale. Like I don't dislike Aaron Ramsdale, but I don't really have any problem with. That's the one thing I'll say definitely positive for Arteta is he is ruthless with the players. Like he will just, I know he has got his favorites as well, but he just dropped our number 1 just like that, which I'm like, most people say David Raya is a better goalkeeper than Aaron Ramsdale. So if we sign David Raya, why would we continue to play Aaron Ramsdale?
Yeah.
And Raya did his job fine. He was comfortable, no mistakes. So I'm okay with that. Like you should be signing players better than your first 11, no? Especially if you want to compete with Man City. So signing a goalkeeper like Raya, who was, I think statistically, he was the best goalkeeper last season, next to Alisson.
Yeah.
And even just watched him last season, he's just a comfortable keeper. So I'm okay with that. I know a lot of people are speculating that Ramsdale's going to start in the Champions League, but I mean, I don't know about rotating the keeper on and off like through each. I don't know about that. I'm not really a fan of that, especially the Champions League. Maybe in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup early stages, yeah, but Champions League, Premier League keeper should be the same, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you there. I mean, and Hannah, you said when we mentioned a Dross Super Sunday, you were sort of on board with that. Did you have a different opinion to this game than Lucas?
I mean, I thought it would be a bit of a goal fest. I thought Arsenal would come in and like tear the place up. I can't lie. Like saying how bad Everton are and how amazing Arsenal are. They made it difficult for themselves. I think the offside goal probably should have been allowed. It pains me to say it, but the interference with play, I think it should have been allowed. But yeah, they did. Arsenal made it difficult for themselves yesterday. But I mean, I know they have. That's kind of like their dud place to go, isn't it? It's like the first result there in a long
2017.
Time. Yeah, that's crazy. So fair enough. Everyone, I mean, United have several, but I was going to say everyone has one of those teams. So it's fair enough. But the thing about Arsenal is they don't look as threatening as they did last season. I mean, they're not scoring as many goals, but obviously that's a few different factors. A good thing about Arsenal though is they have a lot of players who do score goals. They don't just have the one player that they rely on. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they get on. I mean, and obviously I know they're missing a few key players. We've got Timber out, we've got Partey out, but yeah, they look okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think we're as threatening as last season at all. I think the Partey Xhaka not being in our team. I like Declan Rice, but our team is not better than it was last season. Our midfield is not better than it was last season, especially with Havertz in there. Like, oh my God, he's so bad.
I bet you were so busy when he wasn't on the starting 11.
Yeah, I thought it might be a goal fest then when he wasn't starting, but the thing is, we've got this player by the name of Eddie Nketiah as our striker. So we're not gonna. He was running away from the ball like during the game when like there were multiple occasions when wingers would put the ball across the front of the goal, and you're like, where's our striker? We literally have someone who's known to be a poacher as well. It's not like he's a complete striker. He's a very good poacher apparently, and he's nowhere to be seen. So I think the striker thing is definitely going to harm us because again, Jesus is not prolific. He's a great footballer, Jesus, but he's not a prolific goal scorer. Eddie Nketiah is just not good enough. So Saka's knackered and Martinelli's injured. So I'm a little bit concerned that the wins are papering over some glaring issues which are about to happen. But we just got to keep going, and I just don't know why we didn't. I really want us to strengthen the striker or give Balogun a chance, but the season started now. So as long as Trossard pops up with a few, Saka, Odegaard, you can kind of get by, but yeah, there's some definite flags, I'd say. I mean, Saka on the whole, he's knackered. He's not been great this season at all.
He played a lot. He played so much.
He's got the record now, I think he's got the record for most Premier League starts in a row of any player in Premier League history. And he's 22. That's a lot of football.
Right. It's dangerous. I mean, and I think I did see somewhere they were saying about Arsenal that they weren't the signings made to improve the team. It changed the team. Rather than things were better and they made changes that were going to be, because I mean the areas that you like you said that you struggled with is up front and scoring those goals. That's not where the changes were made. It was like cycling players in for somebody else, and just didn't feel right.
I need to see how we play with Champions League on and see how it translates when we've got a busier schedule at the moment, because I'm only comparing it to how we were last season. I think we have dropped off a little bit, but you have to win games and we're doing that. So can't complain at this point. It's just, I'm a little bit wary of some issues that are creeping up. And again, injuries are popping up right now more than they were last season with some of our, I think Martinelli, I haven't seen an update, but he could be out for a bit. So yeah.
That's a new. I mean, I've taken out the Arsenal players out of my FPL squad, so you might start to do okay now, though.
Same. Apart from Saliba.
Yeah, got to have a defender in there. North London derby as well, surely.
Exactly.
There'll be goals in that.
Yeah, that's why I'm not having any defenders in. But I mean, I've got
Liverpool.
Well, we've got Stinky in the chat saying we're going to do the treble again. I'm assuming that's Man City.
How do you time out people on this? He's a Man United fan, but he's talking about Man City. I don't know what's up with him at the moment, but he's a Man United fan who loves Man City. So when he says we are going to do the treble,
that's a Manchester City fan.
Yeah, I think officially. Oh, he's also a supporter of Nottingham Forest and Olympiacos. So yeah.
Ooh.
Goes wherever the wind blows.
that's a nice mix. I mean, my only difficulty is when I host these things is I never get to talk about my own team, because otherwise it's just me talking consistently, and that just bores the bollocks out of everybody. And but I mean,
I got a question for you on your team.
Yeah, go for it.
Are you enjoying Mo Salah's last season at Liverpool?
If it is, I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it. I'll take. I think. We spoke last season with Coco, which we didn't check it out. I think it was last week. We had special guests from the Full Time Whistle podcast. We had Reese and Aaron on. So interesting. They thoroughly enjoyed debating with each other quite aggressively. But one of the things he said about keeping Salah is that was sort of enough to say you can almost claim you won the transfer window just by keeping hold of him and having the cojones to turn down that sort of money, which I sort of agree with the fact that if you can do that comfortably, just say no thanks, I don't want your £175 million. That's great, but he's not slowing up. He's not slowing. He's still doing bits. He's still getting assists. He is my consistent in my FPL team, the only one that gets me points, him and Haaland. And I'm happy. I'm happy keeping him in. And somebody say something lovely. I tell you what, Char, you're normally lovely. Wolves won, Liverpool 3. How did that game make you feel?
To be fair, even when Wolves took the lead, I knew Liverpool were going to come back and win, to be fair. I actually think Liverpool will have a good season. I really do. As much as obviously defensively, they're not the best at the minute, but I do think for attacking options and stuff and just the attacking play, I think obviously you mentioned Salah. Even last season when he didn't have the best season, Salah was still up there scoring, getting the assists, wasn't he? Apart from obviously Harry Kane and Haaland, he was still up there. So yeah, that's all I can really say nice about Liverpool. Sorry.
I think yes. I'll take it because we played really well.
I'm never nice to him.
Nunes are good.
Do you know what? He's having a better season.
He is, to be fair.
He's just a nightmare. Like he's honestly just a nightmare to defend against. So
he's a menace. He's a cross between a poor man Suarez and the player Andy Carroll wished he could be. that's how, because he's got that energy. Yeah, energy, and he's everywhere doing this all the time. But then
pulls defenders completely out of position.
And he can take the ball and he can hold it and he just creates stuff as well for the people. Yeah. He's not all about poaching. He's creating, because I think it was it the second goal? I can't quite remember what he's creating opportunities, and it was one of the goals. He just created that space by just being a nightmare and pulling everybody everywhere. But Stinky in the chat going free Simicus because he's better than Robertson. Although what a goal Robbo scored in the 85th minute. That was an absolute beauty. And Graham said the Klopp going to petition that the early games can't start till 1:30. I think you should, because we just don't start very well, and I don't know, it might be the way that he has some training perhaps. But what a lovely performance by Liverpool. I'm just going to embellish it a little bit. Dominating possession, shots on target, pass accuracy. It was lovely. And I do think I got to be honest, I agree with you. I think we're going to have a solid season.
I think you'll do all right. Yeah, a Gakpo scoring as well. So
yeah, I love Gakpo.
Yeah. I like Gakpo.
He's such a lovely player, and the midfield rebuild I think has been quite good.
Yeah,
it's bizarre bringing on Harvey Elliott. I still think that's bizarre, and keeping Curtis Jones on but taking McAllister off that. But it will.
I think Liverpool could be, if you, and it's the reason I say you've got goals in your team outside of Mo Salah as well. Like your attack is deadly, and I think if you get whatever's being quoted, if it's 200 M's in January, I don't think you'll get that next year because they have 1 year's contract. But if they go and give you 100 to 150 million for Mo Salah in the last year of his contract, you can reinvest that really well. Get another centre back, get another right back, get another midfielder, and you can get another winger. You can get some pretty competent players. I think Liverpool, and if you got Champions League football, I think long term, I think it's a win. It's a win-win situation, to be honest. Like he's going to leave eventually. I don't think he's going to renew his contract.
No, so you got to remember, in that back line, we did have Joe Gomez starting at right back when he's a centre back. Joel Matip. Oh, I love him as a guy, but he just can't do a game. Yeah, and I'm not sure if it was a debut, but it's certainly one of the very first appearances for Kwanzaa in central defence instead of Konate, and he did well. I think it's exciting times, and I am quite pleased.
You've always got like a staple of like really decent squad players from your reserve team every year. Every year there's a new one. I think under Klopp, you've 2 each year have come into the team, so it's not like the same with Arsenal or even like a United or. Can you say Chelsea? Maybe actually Chelsea are probably okay with that. I mean, it's hard to tell who's from the academy and who's not at the moment. They're all under 21.
8 million players, isn't it? But
yeah, I mean, Liverpool, you've kept it. It's good. You got some good young players.
And it's being managed well. And moving over to one team, another team being managed well, and one team being managed questionably, depending which part of the fan base you speak to. Man United 1, Brighton 3. Hannah, how did that game make you feel?
Well, I was there, so it was. Do you know what was actually really interesting? It was less stressful to see it in the stadium than it is to watch it at home, and I don't know why that is, but I think it's because when Brighton scored, obviously everyone just goes silent. Like it was, and that happened a few times. I mean, I'll start off with pointing out things that I think a lot of people are forgetting. So. Our injuries / unavailable players at the moment, Tom Heaton, Aaron Wan-Bissaka got injured on Saturday. That's a huge injury. That's a massive loss for us. Varane, Shaw, Malacia, Amrabat, Kobbie Mainoo, Mason Mount, Amad Diallo, Sancho, and Anthony. That is a huge list of players. I'd say 5, 6, 7 of those would be in the starting lineup. We're missing some really, really key players, and I'm not going to excuse the performances that we've had, but I think we're knackered from last season. I genuinely think we're catching up. We're playing like catch up from last season. We had 7 preseason games. Again, that can go into poor management, but I think the team looked knackered. Casemiro looks about 60. There's no, to me, watching it, because obviously, when you're in the stadium, you can see everything. Obviously, when you're watching it on TV, they're just showing you the attack, for example. When Brighton are attacking, like Christian Eriksen, Casemiro, Rashford, they're playing over 50s walking football. And it's like, what are you doing? I mean, the crowd and the fans around us, like, we were going mad at that because you could literally just see them walking and there was no urgency. And it's just really, really frustrating to watch because we've proved that we can be that team. We won a cup last season. We got to another cup final. We finished third. Like, we had a great season. And it's frustrating that now we seem to be regressing. I mean, again, I think we've had quite a tough start fixture-wise. I mean, we've had some. I'm not going to excuse anything, but I think when we are playing 2 games a week and we have all these injuries, it's just gonna get more difficult. But there's no solace because we played Bayern on Wednesday, and
can't wait.
I think we're gonna hold 5 or 6, to be honest. But I mean, that's a game that we expect to lose. After that, we go to Burnley on Saturday, which is. I kind of hope Burnley pick up points tonight because if they don't, I can see exactly.
They're winning now.
That's good. I want Burnley to win tonight.
Wait, what?
Burnley are beating Forest. Yeah.
1-0.
So I would love Burnley to win tonight because if they go into our game with no points, we just know how that's going to go. Like, I can literally write the script. Thank God I'm on holiday, so I'm going to miss it. After the week after, we play Palace twice. So we have the midweek at Old Trafford for the Carabao Cup, and then we have them in the Premier League at Old Trafford. So that's probably a good time to play Palace. I mean, they don't look too good, but I think it's just stressful at the moment to see us somewhat regressing. But I mean, again, it's hard to not come with excuses, but I did go into the game before Saturday even happened thinking we were going to lose. So I was disappointed, but I wasn't surprised. I mean, I think Brighton are one of our bogey teams. They come into Old Trafford, we don't get beat there for a year, and then they come and they do it again. So yeah,
they did it last year, didn't they?
They did it last year.
Last time you lost.
It was a year and 2 weeks. So I mean, it's an impressive record, but it's obviously upsetting when it does eventually get broken. But yeah, I think once our injured players start to come more available, I think when Amrabat debuts, I think these small changes will make a difference. But another thing that everyone forgets, and when you're not a United fan, it's so easy to laugh at us, but when you're in it, it's so depressing, how much is going on with the club. Even if you're not a Man United fan, if you don't feel somewhat for Erik ten Hag, like, I don't know what to tell you, like, how much he's had to deal with in the last 2 years. Not even 2 years, but just over 12 months. So you've got Ronaldo, Sancho, Anthony, Greenwood, the ownership situation. You've got so many massive things that one or two of those things would be a lot on top of the pressure of being a Manchester United fan. But then the constant, just every single day. I mean, we all joke, one normal day as a Man United fan. So I think with all of that, it's going to come onto the pitch at some point. And it was just unfortunate that we got unraveled on Saturday. I think the first 10, 15, 20 minutes were actually really good. I remember sitting there going, God, we started well. And we did. But I think after that, we had that first goal. And after our goal was disallowed, it just kind of took the wind out of us. And again, like I said about Aston Villa, when you're playing against teams like Brighton, you can't afford to sit back because they do punish you. And we nearly got 4-5-1. So 3-1 actually looked quite good. But yeah, I think if I'm being more positive, I think, a few tough runs of games out of the way. I'll be glad when Bayern's out of the way for sure. But after that, once we start getting players back, I mean, I do think it'll start to look better. But 13 quite key players injured, so I'm taking it with a pinch of salt.
I mean, Claire's asking, do you think the tense atmosphere at Old Trafford has any impact on it?
No, the Old Trafford atmosphere is amazing. So I'm seeing so much criticism for Hannibal celebrating his goal. First of all, two things. First of all, that was an incredible goal. And second of all, it was his first Man United goal. It was his first Premier League goal. So I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans actually giving him abuse and stuff, which I think is wrong. Anyone should celebrate their first goal, whether we're losing or not. I think everyone should kind of be a bit more understanding with that. But that was a great goal. But unfortunately, defensively, we were just rubbish. But the Old Trafford atmosphere, it's always like that. I mean, the boos when Højlund came off and Martial came on.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that.
I've never heard anything like it.
Why? Was there anything being there? Was there anything that you could see that made that decision make sense?
No, we want goals. Why'd you bring on Martial, someone who's not scoring goals? And that was the other thing. I felt desperately sorry for Højlund, his debut goal then gets scratched off. I think I'm not going to say we weren't rubbish because we were, but I also think we've had some bad luck recently. And hopefully we do some good luck soon. It's not going to come in the Champions League anytime soon. I'm fully expecting a loss on Wednesday, but I think after that, hopefully if we can beat Palace, get through to the next round of the Carabao Cup, I think things will start to look a bit more positive. But I'm just saying it's a momentary blip. But Sam, who I was impressed with, who I didn't think I would be, Reguilon was one of our best players on Saturday.
He had a good game. He had a good game.
When they signed him, I was horrified. I was like, how can this be happening? He worked his arse off on Saturday. Off the ball, like I say, when you can see what's going on in the pitch, he was constantly running. He was making some really good tackles. And also Dallow's performance went under the radar because obviously
he's okay, isn't he? I think he's all right.
Left back. He's so good. So I think Dallow won the most amount of duels, which was 12, and Mitoma lost the most. So it does show he did completely pocket Mitoma. Mitoma didn't get a look in. Unfortunately, other players did. But, you have attacking players that everyone is scared of, the likes of Mitoma. And he did a really good job of concealing him. So I think there were some good individual performances on Saturday that obviously go under the radar when you lose. But, yeah, not good enough. Stressed at the moment. But, again, you do have to keep kind of not being reactionary. We're 5 games in. I mean, when it starts to get 10, 15, 20, it gets to Christmas, that's when I'll start getting worried. But for right now, it's mid-September. I'm not thinking, God, we're not going to make European football or anything like that. It's going to be tough, but I think we'll do it.
It could change in 2-3 games.
Yeah.
I think I do agree with the point about Ten Hag. I think he's had to deal with probably the most amount of just bullshit going on at the club since any manager post Fergie. I think he's done well with it, and he stuck to his guns as well. He's been consistent with he's no player power, no player is bigger than the club. You need to play for the badge and fix up with certain players like Ronaldo, Sancho. So fair enough. But I think I don't like Man United, but I do worry for you because I think they're going to throw him under the bus like they always do. It's going to be the same story.
It's a cycle, and
it's going to be rinse and repeat again.
Yeah, rival fans don't want to hear it, but it comes down to the ownership. And, again, we get terrored. All you talk about is Glazers out, but this is what we do. We've done it with Mourinho, Solskjaer, even Ranić. Like we have a good few runs of games. We get new players. We're like, oh, we're building momentum. We get something good, and then it starts to decline, and then it's the manager's fault. I mean, he's made some questionable decisions, but he's a human being, and in the grand scheme of things, what he got out of quite a rubbish team that he inherited last season, I think he did well. So I think everyone just needs to calm down, but no one's ever going to calm down when it's Man United. Like, it comes with the territory.
Man United and Chelsea, I think you can't. I think he's done. The problem is, I think he's actually done enough for a large section of the fan base to say he's not the right manager if the results aren't going the right way, because the football's not. The football usually saves you, but the football's not good. Mm-hmm. And he was supposed to bring a positive brand of football too. And you were good last season, but I wouldn't say that you weren't playing the football I was expecting him to play at all.
No, it's hard because I fully agree. Like, you need to start asking the manager questions at a certain point. But when you see the work rate of the players, it's like, I know for a fact Ten Hag has not gone to Rashford. Oh, Rashford, when someone's coming at you, just walk.
He looks like he can't be arsed at the moment. He looks like he's down in tools.
We've got too many players that are inconsistent, and when one player has a good game, the other one has a bad. Half of them have a good game, half of them have a bad game, and obviously they're not in sync with each other. And that's, I think, the stark difference compared to last season, because we looked a bit more together last season. Like, we looked like we had a little bit more of a plan, whereas like now, I think with like the new signings, for example, people are questioning when Mason Mount's going to come in, what kind of midfield like we're going to play when we've got Kobbie Mainoo back, when we've got Amrabat back in. So yeah, I'm just trying to calm down.
I mean, it is. I mean, in fairness, I'm not the biggest Man United fan in the world, and I'm not fussed what they do, but it is probably one of the worst run big clubs in the league, and to try and work within that is tough. I mean, people have got to remember as well, Ten Hag isn't a vastly experienced manager. He had a couple of seasons at Ajax, which is comfortably the biggest and the best team in that league, and he's come into a really weak starting spot at Manchester United. I mean, if you look, Pep didn't win the league in his first season at Man City, and he came from a team that had won the league and had all of this money that he could spend everywhere. I mean, it took Klopp 3 seasons to really start doing anything at Liverpool. I mean, and Arteta took a couple of seasons to make it. So I think it takes time, and you've got to remember, it doesn't just take time for a young, pretty inexperienced manager to do well, but he's starting from here and having to deal with so much stuff that is just it's hard. You can't really put a footprint and make that difference when you've just got lunatic players doing crazy stuff off the pitch, people refusing to leave.
It's definitely difficult. I agree, but I don't think it's impossible, but it's definitely difficult. And an elite manager will be able to do that at Man United.
But he's a young. That is. Yeah, he's young and
it might be him. Like Anne said, it's only 4 or 5 games, and there's 5 Champions League spots. If Man United can do this in the background, get rid of Maguire, these players who've been there too long, those kind of things are going to take time. So in the meantime, you need to be competing. And if you're competing for top 5, it's not a massive ask for a team with those kind of players. And that's where I think it's the same with Chelsea and Poch. Is like, it doesn't help when you look at Tottenham and they've lost Harry Kane and their manager's playing a good brand of football with 2 of his signings that he's added to that team. He's made existing players look better. I know there's less pressure on Spurs. It's a different environment, but I think there's got to be a happy medium where Man United can, the struggles are still there, but you've got to be winning. You've got to be winning some of these games and still being up there. Otherwise, if they're 10th like December, if they're where Chelsea were, they will sack him.
I mean, the only. What are you going to say? I was just going to say the only worry I would have, you've got a couple of games now where they should be able to pick points up before they play Man City at the end of October.
God,
I think if you need to be winning those, because if you've lost 3 already, if you lose 1 more, that's 4. You won't beat Man City. I don't think anyone's going to beat Man City really this season. And I don't think Klopp seems to be the only manager that consistently gets the better of Pep. But even everybody's going to struggle. But if they do.
They can be like, it's crazy, but it's one of those things where it wouldn't surprise me, because Bayern are good, but they're not the Bayern from 10 years ago.
Yeah. But I think
Harry Kane's a big addition, but that team is like, there are some pretty average players in that team.
I think
especially in defense.
The issue is for us, which I mean, it sounds ridiculous, and people are probably going to bookmark this and laugh at me in December, but I think on these Champions League fixtures at home, I do think we'll be okay. But it's one thing that United can't do is go to big, scary, threatening, away and not bottle it like Galatasaray. That's going to be. That is going to be
horrible. It's going to be tough.
It's a horrible away game, isn't it?
But in the Champions League, you can counter-attack.
Yeah,
like Bayern are going to leave you so much space to counter, which I think plays into your hands. And it's just
why Rashi needs to book his ideas or stop being selfish. Rashford's being selfish at the moment.
Yeah,
he is.
I don't know if anyone saw, but he did a shot where
he could have squared it to Highland. Yeah,
he did that
annoyed me
as well last week. I don't know what's up with him, but I think playing him striker definitely pissed him off. Which again, that was another thing I was very confused about when you started the season. It was, I get you haven't got anyone fit, but Rashford being your most dangerous player has to play off the left.
I would say
has to go there.
We've got players that, again, it's not an excuse, but we've got players that haven't looked right since they've been injured. Ericsson hasn't looked right since his Andy Carroll injury, and Martinez, massive one, since he went off that game in Sevilla. He's looked nowhere near as butcheresque as he did last season. So hoping for a miracle soon. But I mean, I think we'll pick up points against, Burnley. I mean, you definitely hope so. If we're not winning against
Burnley, Palace and Brentford, you've got a chance of getting at least 4 points.
Yeah.
At least, because because the only worry would be if you lose one and then you lose against Man City, that'll be 5 losses.
Lose against City, definitely.
But if you lose one of the ones before that, the worry is then if you lose 1 or 2 more games the whole of the season, top 4, top 5 is a risk because most of the teams don't lose any more than 6 to finish in that top 4.
Especially Man City.
And if you get to October and you've lost 5, that's when it would be
20 points behind.
Yeah, and I don't think it's fair that Ten Hag will come under pressure so early in his career, but he will, and that would be the only thing that would unnerve me. And look at me caring about Man United in a nice way. That's because I'm just such a lovely, rounded human being. But some of the other games, which obviously we haven't got time to go through absolutely everything, but some of the other games we didn't pick up on was we didn't laugh at Chelsea this week, so we can all do it now.
Who spent 1 billion and
he's getting sacked.
He's
getting sacked. Poch, it's worse than Man United, I think.
It's way worse than United. They've spent $1 billion.
Yeah, the money, but even just the football's worse, and they haven't got the off-field issues outside of the money they spent. Like, he's got some very good players there, and they're just playing such awful football.
Who would have thought that a mediocre manager would struggle at a crazy run squad like Chelsea where he doesn't
say it louder?
Who would have thought, apart from like me and Shah, that said it consistently when he came in, that Poch isn't very good? Accept it, Chelsea fans. The other games that took place, Fulham beat Luton Town 1-0, which was a very, very tight affair there. As we already mentioned, Man City did overcome West Ham 1-0, who were 3-1 even, who were 1-0 up for a long period of time. And Newcastle United scraped past Brentford 1-0. And
I've got receipts about Newcastle, because if Eddie Howe does get sacked, I have receipts on TikTok from ages ago where I said it was going to happen. And it was like, no, you're crazy. He's a good manager. And I was like, they're not spending that much money with him because they know at some point, if they get who have they got? They're not playing PSG this week. I think they're playing
Milan, isn't it?
If they get knocked out of that Champions League group and they're lying around 10th, 11th.
He's done. I mean, and Sam in the chat just saying the 1 win for Chelsea, and that was against Luton.
They've got 6 in the year, I think, total.
They've had 6 wins this whole year.
Yeah, the whole one.
And this is the thing, like, if that was Man United, that'd be pasted on billboards for all to see. So no one's talking about that enough. 6 wins in 9 months.
It's because we accept. I mean, they're 14, so they're 2 points behind where they finished. 2 places behind where they finished last season, and I don't know.
No one cares. Like, obviously people get, but no one cares about Chelsea like that.
They've got no fans. That's why. They got no fans
because they came out of nowhere with Abramovich, and it's a similar situation in Man City. If this was happening to a Man City, it wouldn't be headline news. If this happened to an Arsenal or a Man United, you would never hear the end of it. It would be every day, constantly.
I mean, Sam's saying in the chat, so Chelsea haven't beaten a top 6 side for 18 months. More manager than win, says Graham. And the reason, honestly, the reason you don't hear about it, there isn't enough Chelsea fans because they are all now Man City fans. But
they've got a tough run as well. If you've seen their coming fixtures, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. They've got like City.
I mean, I think they've got Aston Villa and then Fulham, which I don't know. Fulham, Burnley, and then they've got Arsenal, Brentford, Spurs, City, Newcastle. I mean, Brighton, United. Oh, I tell you what, they're going to be in the relegation zone by Christmas.
Exactly. Oh, hopefully. One of Chelsea or United has to go. So hopefully this is.
I mean, they're playing as if it was at Stamford Bridge, but it's at Old Trafford. Like, I don't know.
6 pointer.
Do you know what? Spank them. Please, it'll be tremendous. But I mean, there's the table. Obviously, Man City at the top. Nobody cares. But then Spurs with the Ange effect are in second. Liverpool are in third, and Arsenal in fourth. All on 13 points. Isn't that nice? Us all being there together. But Brighton are fifth, and we didn't touch on Brighton enough because time is escaping us. But I'm sure we'll all agree Brighton with 6 first-team players out. 6 first-team players out. So Man United did lose to Brighton's B team, but superb football. I mean, I think it was the second goal, which was 2 minutes of non-stop possession and passing from Brighton up and down. It was superb, and in fairness. Yeah, and this isn't digging against Man United on that game because Brighton seem to be beating everyone at the moment, and they're playing really well. So well done, De Zerbi. And gosh, a team that started Adam Lallana and brought James Milner on the bench, beating Man United 3-1 at Old Trafford. For a team like Brighton, that is kudos, and I'm sure they'll thoroughly enjoy that. And I love two of the Liverpool retirees. That's the retiring to Brighton, and they're still playing football in a winning team. That warms the cockles of my heart. West Ham are up in 6th on 10th position, and Aston Villa in 7th. Crystal Palace in 8th. I think, and the ones that stand out, obviously, Newcastle in 11th with only 2 wins. Forest are in 12th, and Chelsea 14th. And as we would expected, Luton Town 20th, as I expected, Burnley 19th, and then Everton 18th. And that is how Hannah feels about Luton Town being down there. She doesn't like it. She wants it to perform better, and we all do. But if we go on, we'll go over to, do you know what? I've just realised as we're going over to La Liga, I haven't signed into my email to pick up the feed that Sam very kindly sent me over to tell me all about La Liga. So while I am just logging into my email, Lucas, why don't you tell us a little bit about how well Brighton did? Well, I
thought you were going to go to Serie.
Do you know what? That's a better idea. Tell us all about Serie.
Oh, you haven't even got the big one on there.
Which game was the big one? I just took these off.
7-0 by Mourinho's Roma.
Oh, tell us all about that, Mr. Lucas.
Yeah, first win of the season for Mourinho. They had a bit of a slow start, but Dybala's back. He was outstanding in that game. You should watch the highlights if you haven't already. Like, they completely demolished Empoli, who are bottom of the table, and look, they're in trouble. Lukaku got his first goal as well for Roma. He is there now again, if anyone didn't forget. Renato Sanchez is pretty good as well. And then the other big game, Inter versus Milan, the derby. Not only was it a derby, but they're the 2 favourites for the league this season. I think Milan are just about edging it from the odds from the beginning. But Inter, like, under Inzaghi, they look good. Last couple of seasons since he's been their manager, like, they look really good. And obviously, Champions League final as well. They put up a good fight. Inter could be a very, very strong team, not only in Serie A but in the Champions League this year. And then Juve as well picked up another win. Vlahovic scoring another brace. Napoli is struggling. I think that's Spalletti tax. I think they're not gonna do back to back, not without the manager. So, and also Atalanta and Lazio, one-man team. Milinkovic-Savic leaves and they've just completely fallen apart. But yes, the 7-0, the big one, and then Inter run kind of, unstoppable at the moment. So yeah, Serie A is a good one this year. Juve will always be there until they get another points deduction, but keep an eye on it. Oh yeah, Champions League will be good. I can't remember who Inter have, but Milan, I agree. I think Milan are going to smash Newcastle. And I can't remember who's in Inter's group.
I'm just going to take a quick look now. Inter Milan, Champions League.
They're not PSG. Then they're not in Bayern. Who else is there? They're in Madrid's group. Or
Is it
Barcelona.
they got playing Real Sociedad?
Maybe they got one of the I don't want to say weaker, but one of the
Real Sociedad, Benfica, and Salzburg.
So okay, yeah.
Into the through, isn't they?
Inter should be walking that. But yeah, that's the summary for Serie.
Superb. No, Serie. And I do have the Liga. I found it. Liga match day 5. And I'm going to read this because Sam wrote it. It's probably much more eloquent than I could otherwise. Spanish football's returned after the international break with goals, last minute winners, and a new sponsorship deal, which actually sees La Liga strike a sponsorship deal with a 5th tier Welsh outfit. Oh my God, Llanfairpwll FC, who actually have the longest football team name in the world, which you won't make me pronounce, thank God, bringing together the 2 biggest names in football, according to Spain. Barca went goal happy against Real Betis, hitting 5 as new loan signing, João Felix scored his first goal for the club alongside Lewandowski, Ferran Torres, Rafinha, and João Cancelo as Barca battered Betis, maintaining top spot from Real Madrid, who still have a game in hand and kept their 100% record, coming from behind against Real so bad. Federico Valverde and Joselu, of course, a striker who once played for Newcastle and Stoke with just 4 goals in 27 games, proving not everyone can do it in a cold, wet night in Stoke, apart from Peter Crouch. Crouchy can do it on a cold, wet night in Stoke. Just don't ask him to hit the crossbar at Wolves. Back to Spain and Valencia ended a run of 2 consecutive defeats over Atletico Madrid with an impressive 3-0. Hugo Duro double over Duro, if you prefer, topped off by Javi Guerra. Atletico Bilbao started well with 10 points from 15, scoring 3 times in the second half against Cadiz to go into 3rd. And at the bottom, Sevilla has finally got a win over struggling Las Palmas with a 1-0 win thanks to Lupi Bacchio. That's a real name. Apparently, Las Palmas have only scored once this season, which quite frankly is poo. Almeida are bottom, linking to poo, as they were sacked 2-1 by the Yellow Submarine. And in the Monday night fixture, my Girona, not your Girona, go back in the top 4 if they beat Granada. Muchas gracias. No habla español. Bella noche. From la Liga. And we're going now for the first time I've actually included the table and the results. So Charlotte can tell us all about the SPFL.
Yeah, I do apologise though, because I think my internet is lagging, so I apologise if obviously you can't hear it all. But I'm going to start with St Johnstone 0, Rangers 2. So bottom of the league, St Johnstone still haven't got a win this season. Poor them. Brazilian striker Danilo headed the Rangers ahead after 16 minutes, but had to be substituted straight after when he suffered a fractured cheekbone, bless him. So he scored, then he had to get stretched, then he had to go off because he's fractured his cheekbone. So he'll be playing in one of them Zorro masks, I presume, next week.
Phantom of the Opera ones.
Yeah. The substitute, Robin Matondo, added a second in the 79th minute, but to be honest, it was a really below par performance by Rangers. They haven't been really good this season, and that win obviously did take pressure off the manager because they have lost in the Champions League qualifiers as well. They lost against Celtic, so not very good for them. So they have actually gone into 4th place on 9 points, and unfortunately, like I said before, St Johnstone are bottom on 2 points. Celtic 3, Dundee 0, a performance that's shown everybody why Celtic are top of the SPL. The home side couldn't score in the first half despite dominating, having 71% possession of the ball and more goal attempts. Celtic broke the deadlock when David Turnbull was fouled and VAR claimed it was a penalty in the area. He then converted a penalty to go 1-0 up. A second goal for Celtic as they suddenly found the fluency that had been lacking in the first half. 2 clinical finishes then from Kyogo and O'Reilly secured 3 points for them. Brendan Rodgers' men obviously remains top of the league with 13 points, and Dundee are ninth with 5. Hearts 2, Aberdeen 0. Goals from Oda and Liam Boyce secured the 3 points for Hearts. They are now 5th on 7 points. Aberdeen are 11th on 2 points. Kilmarnock 2, Hibs 2. Kilmarnock are now 8th with 5 points. Hibs are 10th with 4. Motherwell 0, St Mirren 1. St Mirren managed to secure all 3 points when ex-Rochdale Academy player Scott Tanzer scored the only goal of the game. Motherwell dominated in all aspects. So possession, the goal attempts, just everything. But you've got to score, haven't you, to win games? There's just a point between them two teams who were both in second and third. And Ross County won, Livingston won. Simon Murray and Bruce Anderson scored both goals to share points for both teams. Ross County is 6 with 7 points, and Livingston are a place below them with 6 points. And that's everything from Scotland.
Oh, and if you haven't seen it yet for audio listeners, Nottingham Forest have equalised it. There's 1-1 against Burnley. I'm sure Hannah is going to be elated if Burnley continue to suffer against Forest, I'm sure, because that's what you want when they play United next. And Sean in the chat, nice to see you, Sean. Thank you for joining us. And over to the Bundesliga with some interesting games this weekend. One I'm going to leave till last, the one I was most excited about. But first I'm going to pick up Heidenheim, newly promoted Heidenheim, beat Werder Bremen 4-2. Werder Bremen actually they did boss the game a little bit, but the fact that they went 4-2 down against newly promoted Heidenheim is a little bit unnerving. They haven't had the best start of the season with only 1 win and 3 losses, so no middle ground. They're winning or they're losing, which is just not fabulous for them at the moment. Borussia Dortmund started. They won the game 4-2. The 88th minute, they were 90th minute. The goal that put them ahead 3-2 was in the 88th, and Marco Reus scored then in the 90th minute to make it look like a very comprehensive game. But they were 1-0 up, and then they went 2-1 down very quickly. 2 goals in the 45th minute, if you can believe it, to put them 2-1 down just before half time, which was a little bit shaky from Borussia Dortmund. And they weren't dominating the game. Possession, shots, passes, everything was very, very close, and they're having a very shaky start to the season. 7th position at the moment. No losses, but not very convincing, and really dropping points where they shouldn't be doing at all. In any other interesting games, our podcast favorite team, Union Berlin, hugely frustrating game against Wolfsburg. They lost 2-1. I'm just going to find my stats that I had written on that one. It's a hugely frustrating game for them because they actually dominated most of the stats in the game. They went 1-0 down, then came back 1-1. But all the way through, I think they dominated the shots, the XG, shots on target, passes, pass accuracy, possession, corners, tackles won, sprints. They dominated all the stats, but they went 2-1 down then in the 30th minute and just couldn't pull it back, couldn't make anything happen. And unfortunately, Union Berlin are in 8th position now with 2 wins and 2 losses. They started strong, were looking good in the league, but they're sort of fallen away, which has made me very, very sad. But the game, I'm sure you all may have noticed, on Friday the 15th, my favourite and yours, everybody's favourite, Xavi Alonso and his Bayer Leverkusen was against Bayern München, and it was 2-2. And what a game. Guess who scored? Guess who scored, Lucas? Your favourite striker, the striker that I'm sure Hannah wished ended up at Manchester United. Harry Kane scoring in the 7th minute.
He's going to put 5 past us, and it will be so ironic. And I'll be there crying.
And you know, but they didn't play badly. Bayern Munich actually played fairly decently in the game. It was the 7th minute was goal from Kane. Grimaldo then scored a free kick at the 24th. Leon Goretzka actually didn't score to put Bayern Munich ahead until the 86th minute. And then Palacios with a 90th minute goal to even it out. But Lucas, another thing that'll make you very happy, Granit Xhaka is having a storming start to the season, really dominating the midfield, his range of passing, his leadership of the team, and he's actually setting things up for people. He's actually preferring, I was read somewhere, Xavi Alonso-esque. Which is the only time I think I've ever seen Granit Xhaka described that well. He's having a storming season.
He was great last year, so obviously we sell him. So yeah,
and it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. But they're playing really well, and people are rumoring that Leverkusen, this could be the year that they end that, because it was the first test they set up going behind the Bayern Munich at Munich. And they managed to pull it back, match them all the way through, and it was 2-2. It was very, very exciting. The only other thing that I point out in RB Leipzig beat Augsburg 3-0, but Xavi Simons on loan from PSG, tearing it up at the moment with his range of passing, his assists that he's putting in, playing very, very well. And he's somebody to keep an eye on because he doesn't seem to be favoured at PSG, but he's playing very well in the Bundesliga this season. So he could be he could be a good one. Shawnee in the chat saying if Kane didn't go to United, he was hoping he was going to go to Arsenal for the memes.
I would have loved that. Leverkusen got your future manager, by the way. He's going to end up at Madrid.
I would love it. I would take him in about 2 more seasons. I would be happy. I just want him to establish himself, perform well in the Champions League, then I'm happy. But at the moment, as it stands, Leverkusen and Munich both on 10 points. Leverkusen margin it by goal difference. 8 goals to their 7 on the goal difference. Leipzig are in 3rd. Stuttgart are in 4th. Hoffenheim are in 5th. Borussia Dortmund, as I mentioned, all the way down in 7th. Last season's league leaders at this point, Union Berlin are in 8th, and down the bottom, Mainz, Darmstadt, who got promoted, not playing particularly well, and as Solaris says, Cologne smelling bad, down in 16th position on only 1 point, and a very tight league. I mean, if you're going down to 7th, there's 2 points between 7th and 1st at the moment. Very competitive, very excited. I'm thoroughly enjoying covering the Bundesliga at the moment. The Eredivisie, unfortunately, we haven't got a lot of information to give on this, unfortunately, other than PSV continuing to win. AZ Alkmaar continuing to win, as are FC Twente. And Ajax down in 12th, not having a wonderful time, losing 3-1. It's not going particularly well for Ajax at the moment, only winning 1 game in the last 4. So it's not looking particularly clever. But and again, another very, very tight league. Go ahead, Eagles. I love it. In 7th position. But only 5 points separating 7th to 1st is superb. And just in the chat, we've got Sam saying losing Haaland and Bellingham successive seasons is catching up with Dortmund. And Graham saying Origi's just come on for Forest. Oh, it's exciting times.
They signed everyone. When did they sign Callum Hudson-Odoi?
I know he's having a game as well. I hear he's having a game.
He got the goal, didn't he?
The goal that he scored, if you can look at everything, that's going to be goal of the month. Great goal.
I did see somebody did say in the chat, and I do apologise here. It is by Ryan Owen. What a goal by Hudson-Odoi. Chelsea watching
Langer, Hudson-Odoi, like.
Leave Chelsea, become better. That's the way it is. But over the league that we don't really cover massively here. However, you will notice PSG, who spoilt football in France last season, are currently in 5th, losing. They lost to Nice, which was very nice. and in fairness, it looks tight at 3-2. Mbappe, the only person scoring for PSG, but he didn't score the second goal until the 87th minute, and they were already 3-1 down by that point. So it was just a consolation goal. PSG really struggling at the moment. Who would have thought not being particularly strong in depth and then losing some of your best players would have made such a big impact? And I think they are struggling from not starting Mbappe in the first couple of games because he refused to leave for money and wants to leave for football. Who would have thought it? And of course, they've got some off-field issues affecting them as well. But the interesting thing, Brest are in 2nd at the moment. Don't be deceived. They've had a very, very easy run in at the moment, and I don't expect that to last. They beat Reims 2-1 on the weekend. Monaco are still up there, drawing 2-2 with Lorient, and they're doing quite well at the moment. Marseille, very hit and miss. But Sam, this is why we miss and love Sam. Look who's 2nd, simply the Brest. Better than all the rest. Well, no, not better than all the rest. 16 other teams at the moment, which is nice in 3rd. But we're all thoroughly going to enjoy PSG in 5th, not at the top of the league. Long may that continue. And that does cover off our European roundup, which does mean that we've reached the end of the podcast. And what a wonderfully enjoyable show it's been. Charlotte, thank you ever so much. Lucas, Hannah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, Charlotte, people obviously... Oh, Lucas, what have you got?
Breaking news.
What?
Concerning Newcastle.
Eddie Howe?
They've broken you. No.
I was like, really?
I'd be jumping up and down if that was it. Apparently, they've broken UEFA's rules because their plane took off too late. So they're going to get sanctioned for it. for their Milan game. That's the first time I've heard of that.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Breaking. Neither did I. Newcastle have broken UEFA rules after their plane took off 2 hours and 20 minutes late from Newcastle for their flight to Milan this evening.
I mean, not to be that girl, but it's interesting how they can, find teams for setting off too late, but they can't, find anything in
in the 115 charges.
Yeah. Charges, but whatever. That'll bite them in the ass one day.
Well done, UEFA. I mean, they're well done. That's nice. Did they even have a plane? I bet. Do you know what? It's because of a team full of Mr. T's and they ain't getting no plane. They're all drinking milk with sleeping tablets because it's been so long. It's been so long that they've had to travel abroad. They haven't been able to do it, but I'm sure the fans are all there. But Charlotte, obviously, absolutely lower league on Thursday at 30 p.m. A rip-roaring success with fabulous views and interaction. Thank you to everybody for watching that. Charlotte, tell us a little bit more about the show and where people can find you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the lower league show is on at 8:30 on Thursday. We will be covering games from AFL Championship, League 1, League 2, National League, because we beat top of a league. So I'm absolutely buzzing. Honestly, I'm buzzing that we're actually winning games now. So yeah, it's a nice change at the minute. But you can catch me on there. Ant's going to be on this week, Claire. So that's obviously carnage with us three. And poor Nick has to deal with us as well. So you can see us four on there at 8:30 p.m. But if you want to find me, and I don't know why, because I'll talk as Rochdale or just have a rant every now and again. But if you do, I'm SharXRAFC, and that is on Twitter. It's on Instagram. It's on TikTok. And I'm also on there with my Rochdale Her Game 2 accounts as well. So that's Rochdale HGT. And remember to watch Absolutely Lower League.
And no scoops. No scoops is bottled it for this week, even though Gillingham won.
Oh, no. Do you know what I've just realised? It's a double game week. No.
So there's going to be an Uber log, so lots of wait for Charlotte. And Finn can't wait. Finn can't wait for it on Thursday. And Lucas, if people want to follow the most handsome content creator, the man that oozes sex appeal, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitch and TikTok, Crab Dribble. I think I'm going to stream tomorrow evening, probably FM to be honest, but we'll see. I should be back to a regular schedule at the moment, but I'm off on a few trips in October, so it's going to be a bit hit and miss for the rest of the year, to be honest. But yes, you'll find me on Twitch and TikTok.
So you're better off just follow his Twitter. I'm sure he'll put it up there. And just why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to be there when Lucas is there? I do. My secret man crush, which I'm just out into the world. Man, I wish I they have. Is it? I'm going to have to look at updating it.
Scored again.
Oh my gosh! Yes, it has. So that is making Hannah very happy because they're not going to come to United looking for points. But Hannah, obviously, people are going to want to hear more about Man United's drama, better than neighbours and home and away. Where can people find you?
Okay, so my Twitter handle is on the screen at United Hannah. I can never get that right, so I'll just stop that. And then my TikTok is Han Talks Football. That's a little bit more general rather than just Man United.
And if for some strange reason you want to follow me, which I don't know why, unless you want to engage in massive bants on everything and just abuse me for what's been going on, I am FMFO_official on Twitter and other things. You might be able to find me there now and again. Apparently, Graham said it was a handball, so it might be 1-1. So who knows? But the important thing, and we do very much encourage you, please support the podcast. We are trying to grow, and your likes, your subscriptions, which are free. It's free to subscribe on YouTube. Give us 5 stars on Spotify. But like and share the love everywhere. But we are on Twitter at Absolute Ball Pod, on YouTube at Absolute Football Podcast, or just type into your search bar Absolute Football Podcast. On Twitch, same thing, and on TikTok, Absolute Football Pod. Instagram and Threads, Absolute Football Podcast _ and Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. As I said, please do show us some love. subscribe, follow, tell your friends, 5-star review, all of that jazz. It really does help, and it means a lot. And it gives us that little perk that we need to see us through the dark and dismal days that we'll have as we come through to winter, the months. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. I don't know what I'm on about. Follow us and subscribe just so I stop talking. Thank you very much for everyone for being here. Lots of love. Be good. TTFN and ta-ta.